Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner. One of the biggest challenges we face in today's economy is to get people employment, getting them jobs which stimulate the economy and the Jewish community. We have that problem as well as how do we get people meaningful employment that will help them with their large families. Well, Duvi Honig is the founder, coordinator of the Parnassa Expo, and he's putting together employees, employers, and giving people the skills in order to be gainfully employed. With us as well, Chesky Kaftheil, a very successful businessman. Among his endeavors is Gourmet Glatt in Cedarhurst, Long Island, as well as 13th Avenue, 39th Street in Borough Park. Lou G. Siegel's premier glatt kosher caterer that's well known throughout the community and beyond. And he's involved also in many different Jewish organizations, including Mishkan, Yecheskel, and of course he's a big supporter of Parnassa Expo, which we're dealing with this evening. Gentlemen, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Let me begin with you, Duvi. This is your concept. You've been doing this for the last number of years, the Parnassa Expo. Tell us how it all came about, what it's all about.
Okay, fantastic. First of all, thank you, Zev, for hosting, and thank you, Chesky, for being here, and to all the listeners. Parnassa Expo, it really is a body of a lot of affiliations what was created and built by the Parnassa Network, the parent body of the Learning Network in Lakewood, New Jersey. We started building affiliations with many resources, organizations, services, companies, CEOs, and we have networking events, seminars, marketing, sales, coaching, consulting, vocational courses, helping people transition into Parnassa stages of life. Being so, we last year, after the Learner Network, the services were so concentrated and so powerful, we felt that we should come out and serve a Parnassa Expo and invite people to benefit from these resources, anywhere from starting a business, finding the right things or services they need, from microloans to coaching to consulting to business advice, how to start a business, patenting, all the way to a whole section of all the courses.
So if I understand you correctly, Duvi, you're not only matching potential employees with potential employers, but you're also giving them the skills so they have the right ones, so when they go into a job, they know how to do the job properly and correctly.
Exactly. And as I was telling Chesky, and I mentioned to you, Zev, before, is that a lawyer who doesn't have a job is by me the same category as someone who has a business and doesn't have clients, or someone who has a business and has clients but needs to continue growing his client base to be able to grow his business. Now, Parnassa Expo, the name itself, it could be misleading because people think maybe Parnassa, I have Parnassa, it's maybe for someone who needs Parnassa. This is all the background of how we came about bringing this expo to the next level. Parnassa is a word where everyone, who is Parnassu Zumizu. People work for Parnassa, whether they have huge companies, smaller companies, everyone works for Parnassa. And that's the name Parnassa Expo, because we're identifying why Klal Yisrael works, what our mission is. Our mission is to be able to continue being Oved Hashem, continue living our Jewish lifestyles, and helping support other Jewish causes. So that it's not just for people who are starting off Parnassa. That's how we started the expo. But this year we're adding on all the industry services. Last year we had over 7,000 people attended, and we helped every one of them. But now we're adding on the industries, and that's the B2B. That's the business networking, the biggest Jewish networking event for businesses to be able to interact with themselves. And the real drive for this is because people reach out to us all the time. I need a service. I need a specific service. I need a good management company. I need a good construction company. Or if someone's in the technology industry, they need a certain technology, or someone has a new technology they came out with and they're looking to be able to get right exposure or health. Same thing in the health industry, or people are looking to be able to invest funds. Other people are looking to grow businesses, and all these match-up things happened last year and were successful. I mean, where chain stores started in New York City from our expo last year when we didn't even have the B2B part, just from people interacting and networking with themselves. So the big drive this year.
It's an important thing to what you're doing, and we're going to get to in just a moment where it's going to be taking place, which is going to be coming up in about a month or so, and we'll give people the exact information. Let me first turn to Chesky Kaftheil, who's a businessman involved in so many different endeavors, businesses, community work. So we appreciate you being here with us. What attracted you to be so heavily involved in Parnassa Expo, Chesky?
Well, thanks again, Zev, having me on here. Baruch Hashem, through the different things that we're involved in, we end up touching a lot of the challenges and also some of the solutions that are facing Klal Yisrael. We deal with a lot of situations with families that are having challenges, be it in Parnassa or children or sometimes on bias, kids getting into yeshivas, and all these issues that are out there we find are exacerbated or really intensified by the fact that there's a tremendous Parnassa challenge oftentimes in the home. The way our education system is set up, and we're so Torah based, and Baruch Hashem, there's so much Torah today about learning and growing and going to Kollel and all that. But the setup of the education of the business or vocational kind of education or training has not been so strong in the community. And as the community grows, Kanei Nahar, so many children, so many in the light getting married and going to Kollel, and very quickly having their own families and finding themselves suddenly, without a parnassa, without specific skills, without connections. Where, like in the Goyish world, people went to college and they went there, they met people, they networked, they've been out there. Our young light have much bigger families, much quicker, Baruch Hashem, but yet have less access to both the knowledge and to the connections that are necessary in business, and that oftentimes ends up being a strain. Besides for the actual Parnassa strain itself, it ends up playing out in various different strains in the family and in the home unit. So when I looked at what Duvi's been doing, and Duvi's an entrepreneur himself, by the way, don't be misled. He's not just an Askan. He's a successful businessman on his own and had a lot of real estate business going in the past, but he's mamish dedicated himself to creating a platform where we'd invite. There's so many wonderful organizations in Klal Yisrael working on job finding, job placement, recruitment, and all that. But what Duvi is doing is actually creating a platform where everybody could meet together, actually physically meet. And he took out, in a very gutsy move, the entire Meadowlands. There's a 60,000 square feet of Jewish networking. And there's never such a thing, in history. He tried it last year in Lakewood and was super successful. He had over 7,000 people there, and hundreds of jobs were created. And it was attended by all the organizations that are working in this space. But by putting everybody into one room and adding not only the job resource and recruiting resource, but also the very important point that Duvi made before, which is that a startup business who has a small overhead, a plumber or just an electrician, whatever, and he doesn't have business, if he doesn't have the skills of marketing or technology or sales, things like that, he is sometimes worse off than the guy who doesn't have parnassa, because the guy who just doesn't have parnassa and everybody's worried to get him a job, at least doesn't have an overhead. Many startup businesses are coming into an overhead and employees and rent and just don't have a strong networking capability to get out there. And why shouldn't every Yiddish company that's doing construction, look for the Jewish or qualified, Jewish electrician or plumber or painter? So what Duvi's doing over here, and what the whole Parnassa Expo is going to be, Be'ez Hashem, a showcase for, and hopefully a groundbreaking, grassroots kind of program, is to bring everybody together, have various, zones, various areas, and where you could meet like-minded people in the real estate industry, in the healthcare industry, in the services industry, and meet other Yidden in a kosher environment. We can't go to a lot of these networking events that are in our industries because they're not kosher, and there's preachers and there's tarivas and and there's, it's just not made for yeshivalites and for b'nai Torah. So to create a place where you could meet people in your industry and meet people that you can hire, or that you could bring on as consultant, or that you can sell to, or that you could buy from, that's a crucially important kind of engine that I believe is needed in Klal Yisrael today. And I really applaud Duvi for putting his 24/7 into this. He's going full kaiches forward. And the interesting thing is that although he's doing this as an afternoon, the actual presentation is professional. The actual this is going to be a real organized solid show. There are going to be speakers. There are going to be seminars given by important and educated or trained counselors and coaches, and I think it's going to be a very important event to be attended by both sellers, buyers, employers, employees. People they're looking for employment, people that are looking to just get into a business, people that have money to lend or to invest in companies. There's never been a centralized Hamish Jewish place that's Altaras HaKodesh, and that's under the auspices of Gedolim, Tzaddikim. Duvi's gotten Haskamas, and only Haskamas. Haskamas is when somebody just agrees, but he's gotten pushes. I mean, they're actually pushing him to do this forward. From Big Gedolim in Lakewood and from about 5 towns, and he's created a tremendous amount of excitement. So I'm very much behind it. I believe this is necessary. I believe he should be supported. I believe that the community at large, and including all those organizations that are out there doing different parts of this work, should come together and make a Kiddush Hashem. They should be able to look at, wow, I think in the last year, Klal Yisrael has witnessed. I mean, not Klal Yisrael. The world has witnessed Klal Yisrael getting together in an unprecedented way. Once in the internet, Asifa, and then subsequently in a bigger way with the Siyam Mashas. Well, guess what? They're about to watch Eden get together to help each other in Parnasa and business. Everything that we're known for, that Klal Yisrael is known for, the good business people, we're getting together, we're working and helping each other and networking with each other, to build better, stable, happy kind of Parnasas for our young life. So I'm very much behind it, and from the minute I saw this, I said, hey, this is necessary. It needs to be supported. He needs help. He's a young man himself. He's working very hard on this thing, and I encourage everybody that that can be involved with this to call in to contribute what they can in terms of ideas and thoughts and muscle and sweat to make an event like this successful.
No, very well said. And Duvi, I think at this point we should let everybody know when it's going to be, and you want not just people who are looking for a job or looking for skills, but actually people who can train them, who can provide job opportunities to also participate. It's everybody together. So when is it going to be taking place? What's the exact date?
February 12th. It's Beis Oder, the Hebrew date, in the Meadowlands Exposition Center. We're also going to have like 10 different networking pavilions. Each industry is going to have its own networking sections, large sections, where people can network, interact, be able to create networking groups, and possibly even, in the future, follow up with those groups to be able to interact as being able to grow their businesses and in the industries, as well as we're going to have CEOs of huge companies speaking, like in the seminar rooms, and really people will be able to mingle and meet connections that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. What's tremendous.
Including, if I'm correct, it'll be getting a lot of government agencies. There's so many services available out there, which are not necessarily accessible to people. There are grants, there are loans, there's training, there's all kinds of things. So Duvi actually reached out to government agencies, state, city, chambers of commerce, things like that, and they're all very excited about that because they also have not had an opportunity to really speak to this community as a whole. There's all these different enclaves in Williamsburg and Lakewood and Muncie and Borough Park and Flatbush and 5 towns, it's all out there, but to be able to sit down and say, okay, here is, a body of smart, aggressive young people with big families, with big needs and all that, and to be able to have an opportunity to greet them and communicate to them in one place,
it's important.
Has not really been available.
Because it's also people who are dedicated, who are loyal, who are family people. They have a certain work ethic that employers
and
can
natural. Baruch Hashem, there's a lot of natural capability in all Yingladi, young man that knows Mesechtes Bava Kama and we've been seeing that Kvetched out the Taisus and Rav Chaim. It makes a great businessman, except that there's just some basic skills that they don't have, and they end up struggling with it. And it's a very big struggle. We have successful, Yingladi that are so successful in Torah, and they suddenly, find themselves in what seems like a simple business situation, and they don't know what to do. They don't, it's just a chassan yediyah. It's not a chassan of capabilities. It's a chassan yediyah, and they're just somebody down the hall that actually is a firm guy that knows it, that isn't his business, and they could just give you a lending hand. I'm not even talking about money, just to consult for you.
Even their knowledge is worth something to them, sure.
Yeah, so that's what we really want to do. We want this to be the beginning. This is not the end. This expo is not the culmination. This expo is the groundwork to lay down. So there should be a continuous, ongoing thing, effort for the entire year.
I want to commend both of you for putting your hearts and souls in helping people. Getting one people a job is perfect, and getting many people jobs and skills to be able to maintain employment. That's a wonderful and such an important thing. Duvi Honig, the person who's the founder, the coordinator of Parnosa Expo, thank you for doing that. We urge people to attend in all their capacities. Chesky Kaftheil, businessman who's involved in so many different Jewish groups and businesses as well. He's a successful businessman. Just some of the groups is Luigi Siegel, as I mentioned before, which is a Glatt Kosher Enterprise, Gourmet Glatt, and he is an Oscar very much involved in so many different Jewish organizations. Thank you, both of you.
I want to correct that, by the way. Gourmet Glatt, you mentioned before, is in the 5 towns and in Borough Park. You mentioned Flatbush. We're not in Flatbush, but it's in Gourmet Glatt in Borough Park and Gourmet Glatt in the 5 towns.
I thought I said Borough Park and Cedarhurst, but if I correct it, certainly it's on 13th Avenue and 39th Street in Borough Park and also in Cedarhurst. And thank you. And Duvi, thank you for the work that you're doing as well.
Thank you, Zev. Thank you. And I just wanted to point out that the pricing for the expo is priced for affordable. We have different stages. It's every business can participate, and it's affordable. And we hope to be able to have the corporate sponsors who are going to be able to have a schus and cover the subsidized smaller business sections.
What's the number can people call to get information, and what's the website?
732-987-7704.
Let's do the number again.
732-987-7704. They could go to our website as well, www.parnasa, PARNASSAHEXPO.com.
Thank you. Much continued success, and we'll give people more information about the expo. Important thing to participate. Thank you for your efforts, and I hope that you're both very successful in getting more people gainfully employed with the proper skills.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. And
keep
we're going to
be great work as well.
Thank you. Glad to be able to be of help. And if one person gets a job, I feel great because of it. If many people do, it'll be a fantastic thing. So thank you.
Okay, Kol Tov.
Kol Tov. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. Stay tuned.